Hey guys, are you considering moving to Destin, Florida, but you're not quite sure if it's the best move for you? Well, in this video, I'm going to discuss reasons why living in Destin might be a great option for you and reasons why it may not be. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be able to decide whether or not you should move to Destin. So first, of course, I want to talk about the breathtaking beaches. Everybody talks about the beautiful white sand and the emerald green waters. It's absolutely true. I mean, the white sands in this area is like Florida's snow, and the emerald green waters is just the most beautiful thing you can see here while you're on the Emerald Coast. So if you want to incorporate the beach life into your daily lifestyle, then Destin would definitely be a great spot for you, where you can access the public beaches or own property where you have your own access to the beach. And that's year round. Of course, there's a lot of people that come during peak seasons that want to enjoy the beach during the hot summer. And there's also people that come during the off season to still get away from the miserable winters that they may have in the current states that they live in. Because here in Florida during the fall and winter, you can still have a pleasurable time out on the beach. Maybe not necessarily in the water because it will be quite chilly. Some people don't mind that. But regardless of the weather, unless it's just pouring raining, you'll be able to enjoy a nice little stroll out on the beach at any point that you're able to get out there. So whether you go out there in the mornings or in the evenings or during your lunch break, or if you work from home, just take your laptop and your supplies and just sit out on the beach and work out. Just hopefully you won't be too distracted by the beautiful waves and friendly people that may come by and maybe want to chat with you. But for the most part, I think people pretty much just leave you in peace if they do see that you're busy, if you're reading or doing some work. But for me personally, I probably couldn't work out on the beach because I'll be too distracted by just staring out in the water and watching the birds and watching other people have a good time. The second thing that would be great if you lived in Destin is enjoying the outdoor activities that the area has to offer. So you'll be able to embrace a lifestyle with world-class fishing, golfing, and water sports, just providing an endless amount of recreational activities. So if you do enjoy being outdoors, whether you have your own toys or not, you'll definitely be able to find a place where you can rent jet skis or go on fishing charters, dolphin cruises, or rent pontoons and just go hang out at Crab Island. There are several golf courses in the area that you'll be able to enjoy. Or if you prefer to live in a community where there's a golf course right there in your backyard, you'll have options for that as well. And it'll be a perfect fit for you to enjoy a daily life of golfing for those of you that dream of that lifestyle after retirement or even while you're still working. Destin is known as the world's luckiest fishing village. So if you love to fish or you want to get into that hobby, Destin is definitely a perfect place for that. Again, it's the perfect opportunity if you do have your own boat, so you can just go out and fish as you please, or take advantage of a lot of the local businesses in the area that offer fishing charters to take you and your family out for a great time. You could either fish out in the bay, or you can go out in the Gulf, go deep sea fishing, or if you just want to hop on one of those dolphin cruises or a sunset cruise and just take a ride out into the Gulf, enjoy the sunset, watch the dolphins put on a show for you, enjoy the entertainment on the pirate ship that you'll find at the Destin Harbor. There's just so many opportunities for you to have a great time if you enjoy being outdoors, whether if it's on the water or on land. There's also fun festivals throughout the year. Some are family friendly, some are more for adults, and there are some that are for both, like the Tequila and Taco Fest. Yes, there's lots of tequila there, but there's also lots of tacos that the children can enjoy, so you won't have to leave them behind. Just make sure you don't overdo it on the tequila, or make sure you do have a designated driver to get everybody home safe. But there's definitely a lot of other festivals that have to do with food, so if you love food or wine tasting or music, arts and craft, I mean, there's a festival for every category. So you definitely won't get bored while you're living in Destin. Third reason why living in Destin would be great is the great community vibe. There are a lot of communities where the neighbors are practically family. They celebrate events together. They might have their own block parties, or there's some neighborhoods where during Halloween, they'll have a whole neighborhood thing where everybody's family can get together and have a little block party or go trick-or-treating. There are some areas where they have a local dog park where dog owners will get together and let their dogs have a play date. And the same thing with families that have children. There might be a community playground where they can get their children together to play, and adults, of course, can sit and have a little conversation as well. But that's why it's important for you to do the research on different neighborhoods to find something that matches the vibe that you and your family are looking for. And you'll definitely feel welcome when you do move into that community. And you won't so much feel out of place, but again, there's a lot of people that will make you feel welcome. And hopefully you don't have neighbors that do the complete opposite. Now let's also talk about the real estate market. Now you have various options of housing to purchase, from beachfront properties to cozy suburban homes. Whatever you're looking for, you'll most likely find it in Destin, unless you're looking for a home with a couple of acres and a place to bring your farm animals. Destin probably wouldn't be a great fit for you if that was the case. However, if you are looking for a condo, then you have plenty of options on or off the beach. Townhomes as well. If you're looking for gated communities or homes in a little tighter neighborhood to where you have smaller lots, less upkeep, less lawn to take care of, which is why a lot of people prefer to live in a townhome, because it is a little bit less maintenance than maintaining your own single family home. Another reason why people like to live in condos. But it really just depends on your lifestyle. There are a lot of people that have children or pets and they need that space that you wouldn't get living in a condo. And if you did prefer to live in a condo, if you had significant other, or if you're by yourself and you have a pet, you definitely have to make sure that pets are allowed in that community. There are some where only owners are allowed to have pets, and some will have the exception of long-term tenants being able to have pets, but you definitely want to check into the rules and the restrictions of the community. We've had lots of buyers that say that they want to live near the beach, but they don't want to live where there's a lot of vacation rentals. So that can get a little tricky, but it's understandable. Some people wouldn't want to buy a home and, both their neighbors on each side or across the street are vacation rentals. So there are people coming and going every few days or every week. Some of the guests might be pleasant, some may not. So there are a lot of families that would be more comfortable if they lived in a community to where there are permanent families or maybe long-term renters, so they don't have to deal with different people coming in and out of their community every day or every week. And if you are looking for beachfront property, of course, that is going to come at a higher price point. I've had to let a few people down when it comes to that. There are people that want to buy a home on the beach and they have a budget of $300,000 to $400,000. So that can be very, very complicated, dang near impossible to find a beachfront house that's about $300,000 range. So definitely do some research or get with a realtor of your choice to figure out what you can get for your price budget. That way you know what you're looking for when you do get started with the process of relocating here to Destin. I mean, we definitely want to make sure that you find something that you would be happy in while enjoying everything else that Destin has to offer. Which leads me to the fifth reason why living in Destin would be great as far as employment. I mean, it is a tourist hub. So the tourism industry brings a lot of job opportunities and a thriving local economy. So if you are in the retail industry or restaurant or hospitality, Destin would definitely have employment opportunities for you. Of course, it's going to be much busier during peak season, throughout spring break, throughout the summertime, going into Labor Day. However, there are still a lot of people that come to the area during the fall and winter. So there will still be a lot of business, just not as much. There may be some businesses that do close down during the off season, so you just gotta look out for that. If you are looking for something that's more year round, then you might want to make sure it is a place that does stay open throughout the year, unless you're willing to find another job to last just for a few months before you circle back around to your busy job during the peak season. And of course, if you're in hospitality, you have plenty of options if you want to work front desk, security, housekeeping, or if you want to do bookings, reservation, kind of work behind the scenes. There will definitely be plenty of opportunities for that. And of course, the restaurant business is pretty thriving year round too, because people got to eat all year round. So overall, living in Destin would be a good fit for you if you do like everything that I had discussed so far. However, there are still a few things to take into consideration that might be an issue depending on how you feel about it. Going back to the tourist crowds, there are some locals that don't like to deal with that type of crowd because it leads to more crowded beaches, and of course the traffic gets a little crazier, and some locals just don't have the patience for that. So just keep that in mind if you are looking to move into the area. There are a lot of people that love to visit the area, and there are a lot of other people that are also relocating here. So if a big crowd isn't for you, then maybe consider somewhere a little bit further away from the beach, up in the northern parts of the county, and still be within 30 to 45 minutes from the beach. And as far as the cost of living, you may experience a slightly higher cost of living than the national average and compared to some inland areas. But of course, with this being a tourist area and a vacation spot, of course, prices may be a little bit higher than what you would find in areas where people don't really visit or even drive through. But that's just the roller coaster of the economy. I'm sure everywhere has experienced the increase in prices for everything such as gas, groceries, insurance, and many other things. So you just want to make sure you do the research just based on your income, that's your current income, or if you're changing jobs when you come to the area, just make sure that you will still be able to have a comfortable living and not be paycheck to paycheck trying to enjoy living in Destin, because we definitely don't want you to relocate here just to turn around and have to move again because you couldn't afford to keep up with the expenses of living in this area. Third thing that kind of has people a little shook is the hurricane risk. mean, due to the coastal location, we are prone to be in the projected paths of hurricanes whenever there is one brewing out in the Atlantic or in the Gulf of Mexico. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we are going to experience back-to-back hurricanes throughout hurricane season. Matter of fact, in 2023, the Destin area has not been impacted by any major storms. So we were definitely lucky this year. Just keep in mind that hurricane season runs from June through November. So you always just want to make sure that you're prepared for either bunkering down and riding out a storm, or if you plan to evacuate, just make sure you have all the supplies needed for each situation that you're going to be in. You want to make sure you do what you need to do to protect your home, whether you're staying or not. You want to make sure you have supplies that you need, whether you're staying or not. So if you are staying, make sure you have non-perishable food, extra batteries, flashlights, candles, first aid kits. You kind of want to have the same things if you're leaving too. You want to make sure you have extra food just in case end up at a place where they don't have power either, and restaurants aren't able to cook food, even though most would have the backup generator, but just depends on where you're going, what restaurant you're going to. You want to make sure that you do have first aid kits. But we can definitely provide you with a list of hurricane preparedness to help you prepare just in case you do end up in the area during a storm. It does help when you prepare in advance than doing it last minute, because there are a lot of people that do last minute, which causes a lot of items being sold out in the stores or long lines at the gas station. So just to avoid all that, definitely you want to make sure you know how to be prepared. And also circling back to the seasonal employment, as I mentioned earlier, that's good for other people that work in certain industries that thrive during the tourist peak season. However, if you work in a position to where you're dependent on tourists and it does slow down during the off season, or maybe the business even closed during the off season, then that would definitely be something to consider when you're moving to the area. Make sure that you do have backup employment. That way you're not scrambling to find another job each season that's not so dependent on tourism. So again, those are just a few things to take in consideration. So if you are considering making Destin your next home, as a dedicated real estate agent, I am here to help you throughout the process and make it as smooth and simple as possible. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or an investor, I love to help anybody who wants to buy or sell on the Emerald Coast. So if you do need some assistance, feel free to call, text, or email us so we can turn your Destin dream into a reality. I'm Stephanie Bueno with the Whittemore Group at LPT Realty. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.